Nekkal millionaire at Afiso. $3.6 million is to give away. Simply buy a minimum of $10 in credit or data worth $10 to stand a chance of being a millionaire. To enter the weekly and monthly draw, send WIN by SMS to 772 or just call 772 for free. Remember, the more you buy credit or data, the more your chances of being a millionaire. Be that Nekkal millionaire at Afiso, right?
Good evening from our studio here in Sarakunda. This is Star TV News with me, Momodu Bailo Bari. In our headlines tonight, devastating inferno kills woman in Jokadu Dasilami village. NAMS debates 2024 budget estimates consolidated report. Meet the people tour, President Barrow visits rural water supply project in Kolibantang. Media run challenge, UNICEF commemorates World Children's Day with 3-kilometer run. On the international news, Mali government urged displaced residents to return to Kidal. Uncertainty for free prisoners, roller coaster for emotions of Palestinian families. Ukraine government says more than 26,000 people have disappeared since the 2022 invasion. These and many more coming. Stay with us. We look at the news in details now. A woman has recently died in a raging inferno that has devoured the entire Gazamakunda in Jokadu Dasilami village, leaving the occupants homeless and destitute. However, the cause of the fire is still under investigation, but preliminary reports suggest that it may have been induced by an electrical park. Mbaikor has more in this report.
The blaze consumed the entire house, leaving nothing behind. They lost all their valuable belongings, materials, and some cars in the inferno. This tragic incident has left the Gazamakunda family in a devastating situation as they mourn the loss of a woman who was seen as a pillar of the house. Speaking to the media, the head of the Gazamakunda family, Babali Gazama, was in tears as he revealed how shocking and devastating the fire outbreak was for them. In explaining the scenario, Mr. Gazama said he received a call telling him that there was a fire at their house, which was shocking news to him. He revealed that losing the entire house is tragic, but the most shocking part was losing the woman who served as a pillar of the compound. Gazama appealed for assistance in these trying times from individuals and organizations as they have lost everything and are now in dire need of aid. Ansu Fofana, a nephew to the victim's family, described the damages of the fire outbreak as horrific as a ransom amount had perished. Omar Diba, the imam of the village, noted that the fire got worse due to the high concentration they have to searing the woman in the house, which led to the spread of the fire to the extent of ravaging the whole house. The heart-wrenching incident has left the village in shock, with many residents expressing their condolence to the affected family. Pledge to aid the victims are also in order. Reporting for Star TV News, I am Baikor.
The Finance and Public Accounts Committee of the National Assembly of the Gambia recently presented the Consolidated Committee report for the 2024 budget estimates. This report follows the tabling of government's projected budget for the upcoming fiscal year, as well as a thorough scrutiny and discussion process involving lawmakers, ministries, and other government institutions. Sally Kamara has more in this report.
On November 17, 2023, the 2024 budget estimate was formally presented before the National Assembly. Subsequently, lawmakers engaged in a 3-day retreat to meticulously review and analyze the budget. As a result of this collaborative effort, the Finance and Public Accounts Committee prepared a consolidated report which was presented in the Assembly on November 27, 2023 for the National Assembly members to study and provide their feedback. During the presentation of the consolidated report, the chairperson of FPAC highlighted that an amount of over $485 million was identified as unnecessary spending within the budget. Concerns were also raised by NAMS regarding the budget deficit of $4.4 million. In response to these concerns, the chairperson of SPAC, Honorable Alaji S. Dabo, who also served as the National Assembly member for Birikama North, disclosed the committee's recommended cuts and reallocation of funds from specific institutions.
Office of the President, there was no savings under the office budget. However, the committee recommends reallocation to priority budget line as indicated on the attack addendum. Equally, there was no savings under OBP's budget. However, the committee recommends reallocations to priority budget line as indicated on the attack addendum. National Assembly. The committee recommends a total reduction of 15,800,000 from the National Assembly's budget. Furthermore, the committee recommends reallocations to priority budget lines as indicated on the attached addendum. For judiciary, the committee recommends a total reduction of 74,300,000 from the judicial submission. The committee recommends some reallocation to priority budget lines as indicated in the attack addendum. The Independent Electoral Commission, IEC, the committee recommends a total reduction of 48,582,500 from the IEC's budget. Furthermore, the committee recommends reallocation to priority budget lines as indicated on the attack addendum.
Honorable Abdullah Sise, member for Olyundum, who expressed satisfaction with the efforts made in reducing the budget deficit from 4.4 billion. He stresses that the allocated sum of 122 million for the Ministry of Youth and Sport fell short for his expectation.
Youth and Sport, 122 million is way below. It's way below. We are not expecting 122 million. We are expecting at least 200 million for the Ministry of Youth and Sports. In my own capacity, I'm not seeing any other ministry more important than this sector. The resources that we are giving them is way too small. And I think from this budget, 2025, we need to reconsider. We will do more advocacy to see that money is given to Minister of Youth and Sport, especially in 2024 when Gambia is going to African Cup of Nations. We have not seen anything in that budget line.
Meanwhile, the NAM for Upper Nyomi, Honorable Umar Dabo, raises a valid concern regarding the inadequate allocation of certain budget lines under the Ministry of Agriculture. He highlights that the allocation of $500,000 for agriculture is insufficient for the country to achieve food self-sufficiency. The National Assembly members continue to deliberate on these recommendations and engage in further discussion concerning the budget allocations. As the process unfolds, they aim to ensure responsible fiscal management and proper allocations for resources. Reporting for Star TV News, I am Sally Kamara.
The Gambian leader, President Barrow, on Sunday concluded his Meet the People tour in the Upper River region by engaging in several important activities. This includes a site visit to rural water supply project in Kolibantang and the Sare Pate 1HA community pasture field. Hadi Jaju, who is with the entourage, files in this report.
The day began with a site visit to the rural water supply in Kolibantang, where President Barrow expressed his admiration for the progress made in this facility. It was highlighted that this development was a result of the friendly relationship between the Gambia and the Japanese government. Kura Suso, a resident and a beneficiary of the area, expressed deep appreciation for the Barrow-led government and also shared some of the challenges faced by women in the region. The tour then proceeded to the Sare Pate community pasture field in the Wuli district, where President Barrow inspected a 1-hectare community field under the Ministry of Agriculture. The field is dedicated to small ruminant production and is known to provide high-nutrient pasture suitable for both rainy and dry seasons, ensuring animals' health and well-being. The Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Demba Sabali, provided an informative overview of the project, highlighting its significance and benefits. To conclude the day's engagements, President Barrow held a joint meeting at Chamoy Bunda. This meeting served as an opportunity to discuss various matters of importance and address any concerns raised by the participants. The Gambian leader pledged his steadfast determination to bring development to the people, adding that his government is decentralizing infrastructural development throughout the nation to ensure inclusive growth. Overall, the day was filled with productive visits, insightful discussions, and meaningful interactions, further emphasizing the government's commitment to improving the lives of the Gambian people. For Star TV News, I am Hadi Jaju.
The Media Run Challenge and UNICEF recently marked World Children's Day with a 3-kilometer marathon event. This occasion aimed to celebrate children, raise awareness about the challenges they face and promote and protect their rights. Mariama Dem reports.
The marathon, which began at Westfield and ended at the traffic lights, offered children the opportunity to have fun, showcase their talents and strengths. The Gambia Scout Band accompanied the runners, adding a lively musical elements to the event. Following the marathon, the participants engaged in an invigorating aerobics session led by Wali Fitness, an exercise expert. This session aimed to empower children by teaching them how to overcome the challenges they may encounter in their lives. Abdullah Jawo, the chairperson of the Media Run Challenge, emphasized the significance of the event in uniting media practitioners and society at large, while also underscoring the importance of safeguarding children's rights.
Now Media Run has achieved all that is bringing media practitioners together. We get to a point of saying, why not we expand our partnership? This is when we extend our partnership hand to the UNICEF and UNICEF Gambia. Thank you so much for accepting to partner with the Media Run Challenge and many other partners. But today here we are commemorating and celebrating children, which all of us were one time. We all were one time children until we grew up. It's the same thing we want to give back to those children that we have at our houses, whether we are their uncles, their aunts, their fathers, or their brothers. We all have to collectively join our hands together in making sure that we create that enabling and conducive environment for children to grow, not only grow, but grow responsibly.
Honorable Adam Ademba, the Deputy Speaker of the Children National Assembly of the Gambia, spoke about the significance of World Children's Day and stressed the need for an extensive investment to advance and protect children's rights.
Every child has the right to basic education, health, and protection. Also, the society has a role in advancing opportunities for children. As we have the Media Run Challenge today, which is giving children the opportunity to have fun and also exhibit various talent, which is a fulfillment of their rights to participation. Also, Article 31 of the Convention of the Rights of the Child talks about children freely participating and also having to address issues that concerns them, that is related to their participation. So, as we celebrate this day, I call on all stakeholders in the lives of children to invest more in advancing the rights of children.
Recognizing that children are often subjected to various forms of abuse, such as sexual abuse and domestic violence, Lamin Kebe, a representative from the Gender and Child Welfare Unit at the Gambia Police Force, highlighted some of the steps taken by the Gambia Police Force as implementers of the law.
On terms of implementation of the law, the police have put in place protective measures in order to initiate an effective and proactive system that create child-friendly environment for potential victims of abuse and children in conflict with the law for their protection. This is manifested currently with the building of modern police stations in Serekunda, Bundung, Burusibi, and Bakode to show that we have child-friendly environment in investigating those cases. And also, most of the police stations in the country have the police gender and child welfare officers who are primarily responsible for handling and investigating cases involving children and other sexual and gender-based violence cases.
Nuha Jata, an education specialist at UNICEF Gambia, underscored the crucial role of providing quality education for children, emphasizing that every child deserves access to education and learning opportunities.
The biggest child right violation is denial of education. If you deny children education, you deny them a lot of opportunities. Opportunity to realize, access health information, opportunity to access nutrition information, protection information, and many other things like that. Opportunity even to demand their rights to be fulfilled. So this is why, for me, the biggest violation of child rights is denial of children from education. And with that, I want to thank all of us to renew our pledge to the children that we want to, as duty bearers, we want to affirm our position that we will continue to help children to grow to their fullest potential.
These celebrations not only allowed children to have fun, but also emphasized the importance of acknowledging and promoting their rights, ultimately aiming to create a safer and brighter future for children everywhere. The Media Run Challenge is a non-profit organization dedicated to promoting the overall well-being and healthy lifestyle choices, not only for media workers but also their partners. Their mission goes beyond their immediate beneficiaries as they seek to create awareness and inspire positive change within the media, industry and society as a whole. Mariam Adem, reporting for Star TV News.
That story by Mariam Adem will take us to the break. When we come back, we'll look at news outside the Gambia. Stay tuned.
ndaw rek man sa kas faw moo jeex xaas faw bee jeex te tey dimanche la nga dem sama kër seen dem fan star 777 hash 3 oy man defal ma fii sa mita number bi yow ande ko ton mu ñaan tala nga
jëndal cash power léegi te fayeekuwul ñu la ci dërëm Afrimoney rek nga ko mën a amee daagul ndànk seet Afrimoney agent bi la gën a jege mbaa Africell customer care boobu mën a doon déposit fa sa xaalis ñu delloo la njukkali may la $25 bonus credit ci taxawaay dialal star 777 star 3 hash nga yónnee mbaa nga call 777 ñu leeralal la.
Welcome back. After that short commercial break, if you're just tuning in, this is Star TV News, and we are live here in our studio in Churchilltown. We take a look at news outside the Gambia. Mali's government is asking residents who fled the northern city of Kidal to return home. It is after government forces regained control of the city last week. Many are from the semi-nomadic Tuareg ethnic group and are too afraid to come back. The town was part of Azawad Movement's Heartland, an alliance of Tuareg armed groups that hopes to gain autonomy. Al Jazeera's Nicholas Haig reports.
By the border with Algeria in Tinzawatin, displaced Tuaregs from Kidal living in makeshift tents. Still shaken after Mali's military targeted them with a drone strike. Several were killed, scores injured. After seizing the city of Kidal from Tuareg rebels, Malian soldiers with the help of Wagner fighters are on the offensive in the country's northern region.
We are scared of Wagner. In Mali, there weren't any problems before they arrived. We trusted the military. Wagner is beheading people. We are really afraid. We've left everything behind, food and our animals. We are too afraid to return home.
But Mali's government is calling on those displaced to return home to Kidal. The military are going house to house searching for Tuareg rebels.
During our sweep of the city, we found and seized a lot of weapons and vehicles, which we now have to hand in this camp.
Images circulating on social media show ethnic Bambara residents of Kidal looting homes of their Arab and Tuareg neighbors who had fled. Most Tuareg and Arabs are too afraid to return home, fearing communal violence. As the UN peacekeeping mission continues its withdrawal, aid agencies say tens of thousands of displaced people live in far-flung places with little assistance.
There is no humanitarian assistance because access is not possible nowadays. They need are huge, and oftentimes they need are in terms of water, in terms of sanitation, and in terms of medical assistance.
The Tuareg people are isolated and displaced. Their hopes for an independent homeland they call the Azawad seem distant. For now, it is for them a matter of survival. Nicholas Hawk, Al Jazeera.
As more Palestinians are released from Israeli jails, prisoners from occupied East Jerusalem and their families are experiencing a roller coaster of emotions. Ordered not to celebrate their freedom and told not to participate in any banned activities, they are uncertain about the days to come. Al Jazeera's Mohammed Janjum reports from the occupied East Jerusalem.
Outside a family home in occupied East Jerusalem, hugs and tears, jubilation and sadness. But after 8 years in jail, 24-year-old Shuruq Duwayat has a hard time accepting she's free.
Even now, I can't believe it, that I'm walking in the street without guards, that at night I can see the moon and the sky in one uninterrupted view, because in prison you can't.
In 2015, Shuruq was convicted of stabbing one Israeli man and attempting to stab another. She was sentenced to 16 years in prison. In the past, her family told Israeli media outlets that Shuruq was acting in self-defense after a man tried to pull off her headscarf. On Saturday, everything changed. That's when Shuruq was released from an Israeli jail as one of at least 150 Palestinian prisoners Israel agreed to set free as part of a ceasefire deal with Hamas. But along with her newfound liberty came strict conditions.
First, we're not allowed to engage in any display of celebrations. Second, we're not allowed to participate in any kind of political activity. Third, I'm not allowed to voice any opinion on social media.
And does that make you feel pressure right now?
It's true that I came back home and that I got my freedom, but I'm still restricted.
Yeah. And how does your family feel about that? Are they even more worried now because of that?
They're very worried about this. There's a lot of fear.
The pressure remains, but today Shuruq and her mother try to feel a bit of enjoyment. In another part of occupied East Jerusalem, Jad Hamad waits and worries. On Saturday, he was told his family would be reunited with his 16-year-old daughter, Nufuz, who at the age of 14 was accused of attempting to stab a settler. Nufuz was sentenced to 12 years in prison. The family denies the accusations. Jad went to the detention facility where he believed he'd be picking up Nufuz, waited for hours, and was then ordered to leave, alone.
One thing I can say is that I'm burning from the inside. This is my girl, my daughter. I don't know where she is, if she's eating, if she's drinking, if she's cold, or even if she's sick.
As Palestinians, Jad and his family are accustomed to anxiety and dread in equal measure. But this is far worse. Days that were meant to be happy turned even sadder. Hours after speaking to Jad, we learned Nufuz had been released. But what should have been a joyous occasion for the family turned into a frightening evening as Israeli police raided their home multiple times, kicking out journalists, barring any celebrations, and reminding an already worried family that their collective sigh of relief won't be happening anytime soon. Mohammed Jamjoum, Al Jazeera, occupied East Jerusalem.
There is growing frustration in Ukraine among families whose loved ones have gone missing during the war with Russia. Ukraine says more than 26,000 people, both military personnel and civilians, have disappeared. Al Jazeera's Rob McBride reports from Kiev, Ukraine.
Valentina was pregnant when her husband went missing just after the start of the war. Now their daughter Elizaveta has turned 1 and has yet to see her father. But Valentina is convinced he is alive after seeing what appeared to be his photo on Russian social media.
I was sure that my husband was in captivity because when we last spoke, he said he would do everything to return to me and our baby.
Along with other families, she attends regular sessions at an organization trying to find out the fate of missing soldiers.
We're working with thousands of relatives of prisoners of war, and it's sometimes very difficult to find an information about such persons.
As the war grinds on, a lack of information about those prisoners and also missing civilians has led to increasing frustration among families.
I think it's a very difficult situation because for a long time we haven't received any information about their loved ones, and such a suspended state affects them a lot. It frustrates them.
The information vacuum has also allowed online fraudsters in Ukraine and Russia to exploit families desperate for news, offering to sell information on prisoners or even claiming to be able to free them. Valentina says she was approached by someone online saying she could pay to have her husband released.
But I turned to Ukrainian authorities and they said it was impossible. If it was really possible, our prisoners would have been home a long time ago.
In the meantime, she can only endure a painful wait for any news. Rob McBride, Al Jazeera, Kyiv.
The report from Ukraine brings us to the end of this edition of News Bulletin, but before we go, a quick recap of our main headlines. Devastating inferno kills woman in Jokadu Dasilami village. NAMS debates 2024 budget estimates consolidated report. Meet the People tour, President Barrow visits rural water supply project in Kolibantang. Media Run Challenge, UNICEF commemorates World Children's Day with 3-kilometer run. On the international news, Mali government urged displaced residents to return to Kidal. Uncertainty for free prisoners, roller coaster for emotions of Palestinians' families. Ukraine government says more than 26,000 people have disappeared since the 2022 invasion. Well, that's all for this edition of today's news. Thank you very much for watching. Do stay tuned and enjoy the rest of our programs. Until then, have a very good night.